All right, here we go. We're gonna make some dough for pizza later today. So for those of you who don't make your dough, here's how I make mine. So I'm gonna make 2 pizzas. I personally can't figure out how to make my pizzas round at the best of times. And when I divide the dough, I have a harder time. So I actually make the 2 doughs as separate. So 2 bowls, here we go. And I have weighed out 300 grams of flour. So say hi when you find me. So 300 grams, I have it 2 times, and then I have some salt and some yeast and some warm water. So put my scale aside. And what I do is I put some, it doesn't really matter, like about half-ish of your flour into each one. And I'll put the one in front of it so I don't forget which one. And then I put salt, a teaspoon and a half of salt in each one, and a teaspoon and a half. Did I do that right? I really hope I did that right. If I didn't, we'll know later. And then the same amount, teaspoon and a half of yeast. The salt is proportional. The yeast is a little bit proportional, but not really. The yeast really is more, in my opinion. Depends on how much time you have and how much, because yeast, is exponential and it will continue to expand. So if you have more time to let it grow, then you can start with less yeast. Okay, so I'm gonna just be lazy and use my Flex Plus, use the beater things, whatever they're called, I don't know. All right, to mix this up. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mix the dry ingredients together. And then I'm in both of them, and then I'm gonna add the water. And the reason I do it this way is because, well, it's just easy, but it can develop some gluten structure, mechanically to speed things up. And so I don't need as much time, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna mix it. The thing is, you can't mix it if you have all the flour in because it's too stiff. And besides, it's the wrong thing to do. But when you have a small amount of the flour, proportionally, it's a very wet dough, and so you can use a mixer. So this is not a whisk, it's just a regular beater with only 4 little things in it. So you can go through stiff stuff really easily. So I'm just going to use it like this. I do my bread this way. So get it doing some of the work for me. So I just wait till I can start to see little bubbles. Little tiny bubbles in there. And then we're gonna go mix this one. And then I'm gonna add the rest of the flour and mix it in by hand. And that's how I do it. That's it. You can add a little olive oil. It makes it easier to work with later, but it's not mandatory. And then I'm just gonna let it sit. So you're gonna see the consistency here in a moment. So I have 300 grams of flour and this is just practice and trial and error, 300 grams of flour and 250 grams, milliliters, same thing, of water. All right, so I have now all my flour added, and I'm gonna stir it in. And the other thing, if you want, you could add a little bit of olive oil. Again, it's just not quite so sticky. And so now you can see that it's more, oopsie, it's a stiffer dough. And you can get in here and just like shake it back and forth, kind of slap it. Oh, my thing came, the little, I'm gonna just take this off and get that on the right way. So now it's not quite so sticky on the bottom. All right, so I just kind of beat it a little bit, slap it side to side. And I just want you can see that not all the flour is incorporated. So I'm gonna make sure that I slap it around a little bit more until it is. And then I'm gonna cover it and let it rest. And we're gonna roll that out and make pizza dough, make pizza later. And it just wants to be warm, and it will relax, expand, do all those things, and be ready to use. So are you gonna make some? If you're there watching me. You gonna make some? Make pizza today, or have you already made your supper plans? I've been doing pizza parties lately on table, and that's one of the things that we all, when we're new to making our own pizza and dough, I used to buy it all the time, and getting it relaxed was the thing, because otherwise it stretches back at you and it's so frustrating and you give up and you don't realize that dough needs to be warm and relaxed in order to work with it. It's like when you go for a massage, that's why they warm you up, so that they can massage your muscle. Otherwise it has a hard time relaxing. Okay, I think that's good. So I will see you guys later, about 4:30. Bye.